I wasn't sure I was going to do this video. I had plenty of false starts and wasn't sure there was a need to do so. I kept telling myself things were going to get better after the election. They didn't.
They voted for a man who has demeaned and degraded and assaulted women for decades.
His actual message was one of nativism, racism, sexism, bigotry, xenophobia, hatred.
I kept telling myself things were going to get better after the inauguration. They didn't.
Donald J. Trump is now President of the United States. President Obama is the ex-president. And Mr. Trump, for the moment, steps...
He's going to fuck the poor. He's going to fuck immigrants. He's going to fuck women and people of color. He's going to fuck people out of their reproductive rights. He's going to fuck people out of their health care while cutting taxes on the rich. He's going to fuck up our trade agreements. He's going to fuck up our standing in the world. He's going to empower white supremacists even more than he already has.
The neo-Nazi movement?
It's Pepe's become kind of a symbol.
If there was a war against the fascists in the US, I would be there. I would go. I would come over. And I'd be killing Nazis left, right, and center.
And now here we are. The ride truly never ends. Fair warning, you're going to see a lot of this guy in the video. His name is Steve Shives, who started out as an atheist YouTuber debating against creationists on the internet. Not exactly a tough job, but one that did need doing. Until Steve discovered the one true religion of feminism and became what is colloquially known as a regressive. Now, Steve's a weird case, and I'll probably do a more in-depth video on him later. But suffice it to say, Steve is a fathometer that tells you how deep the crazy goes when it comes to the regressive left. And it's gone so deep that it's dug all the way through and come out the other end as the new religious right. They have become the ones who justify a double standard of denying someone else their rights for the crime of not sharing their morality. People like Steve Shives will vilify everyone who does not share his values in order to put himself on the virtuous side of the argument, to claim the moral high ground for the greater good, even if he has to outright lie to do it.
A racist, misogynist, professional internet troll Milo Yiannopoulos. A racist.
My Grindr profile says blacks only. Is that racist? Although, of course, I wouldn't put blacks only because that might put some people off. I'll do words that create the same effect, you know, like don't contact me if you're under 7 inches and you know who your dad is.
And this is endemic to the current state of the far left. Here you have Tim Blake, also known as Demotivator Opinion, another YouTuber who will constantly bang on about feminism and racism, discussing what he thinks about Milo Yiannopoulos, the gay Jewish man who enjoys the company of black men.
A while ago, Milo spoke at a university. He was doing his usual, aggrandizement thing, like, oh, I suck black dicks, oh, I've had black boyfriends, oh, I can't be racist, I'm gay. Someone's going to cut that out of this video, I just know it. And then he just shows up and he's just like, hey, faggot, gay, faggot, black nigger, whatever. Oh, so edgy, oh, so pure edge. Well, it's a fucking university. It's a place of learning. I don't think universities are 100% free speech zones. Now, what do I mean by that? That means it's not appropriate to have somebody come to the campus and say, this bunch of students are snowflakes.
You have MSNBC so quick to distance themselves from the idea that a black man might support Donald Trump.
We're all Americans. I think we need to stop with all the racist stuff and the race baiting. Like me and my friend right here, we just met today, we was talking. You know, we got to stop with the racist stuff and this, that. We all Americans, man, and nobody paying David Duke no mind.
Clearly, let me just be clear here. Obviously, the majority of Donald Trump supporters are not African American. I don't know how many African Americans were in that building.
Now, I don't approve of everything Trump does. In fact, I honestly would have picked anyone other than the two choices America got. But what I was hoping for was to make lemon... I can't even use that phrase now. Thanks, BuzzFeed. You fucking assholes. What I was hoping for was that Trump would force the left to rethink how far it had drifted from the center. A lot of controversy within the left has been the Antifa or anti-fascist movement, which finds itself in the uncomfortable contradiction of staging riots in order to shut down talks given by speakers like Milo. Specifically, riots at UC Berkeley a California university that, in yet another twist of irony, was where the free speech movement began. Much like the punching of Richard Spencer, you find people sitting rather comfortably under the idea that they have violently and physically stopped people from saying words. You have people like Steve Shives saying this bullshit.
If I open my newspaper and I read Nazi got punched last night, I'm going to say, oh, good. You know, that's what I'm going to say, because fuck him. If I read the newspaper next week and the story is, oh, Richard Spencer is afraid to leave his house because every time he steps out his front door, somebody punches him, I'm going to say, good. Fuck him. Do all ideas deserve a fair hearing? Sure. But what about ideas who have had their fair hearing and have been widely discredited and rejected?
Steve seems to forget that it takes an exercise of power to stop people from speaking. That just because you have the power currently doesn't mean you always will. And that doesn't mean the result is for the betterment of everyone. And a perfect example of that is Galileo. Now, for those of you who aren't up to date on history or science, Copernicus was the one who originally came up with the idea for heliocentrism, the idea that the Earth revolves around the sun, a theory that went against geocentrism, which was the idea that the Earth was the center and everything revolved around it. Copernicus died soon after, and his theory was picked up and published by Galileo. This thought challenged the idea put forth by the Roman Catholic Church about geocentrism. Ultimately, the Roman Catholic Church banned any books on heliocentrism, and Galileo was put under house arrest until his death for the crime of heresy. And that is the danger of denying someone a platform. That is the danger of denying people the ideas of others. It's not the question of whether or not they have merit. It's that they could have merit, and that is up for the people who want to listen to decide. But then we have Steve Shives again.
But does that mean that every propagator of every theory and ideology is entitled to a platform and an audience? No, of course not.
Now, I want you to think about whoever said Milo was entitled to a platform. Who said he was entitled to an audience? Was he the fucking Joker? Is this how it went down? Did he tie everyone up, gag them, and force them to listen to him speak? No, Milo was invited to speak by a student group. Students at UC Berkeley. They made arrangements. They exercised their rights as students, just like any other student or student group at the university, to hear someone they wanted to speak to them. Let's turn this around. Are people entitled to a speaker they paid to come speak to them? Does anyone have the right to control which ideas people are allowed to expose themselves to? Has any of these people ever read fucking 1984? I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do with this channel. I don't think I really have the time to go into deep videos like some rather awesome people. But I'd rather not just make YouTube commentary. I want to have an impact. I want to pull the left from the abyss it's come to, being pulled over the edge by morons who have been blinded by their own hubris, who can't see the only thing their ideology is missing is validation from a godlike figure. That aside from that, it operates like any other religion, like any other cult, by keeping its members in line through shame and fear of being ostracized and covering up the contradictions in their behavior with moral validation.